everyone. So my name is Min Bashir, and I'm the Students' Union President. It's really great to meet you all. Thank you so much for coming here. So welcome to our candidate question time. So this is, I'm really happy that quite a lot of you are here. You get to find out what the candidates are running for, how they want to represent you at London Met, and free pizza that everyone seems to love. So just a quick question, just a quick sort of reminder is that Raul would have already been giving you kind of pieces of paper where you can write questions. So when you're ready to kind of hand over your question that you've written down, you can just let Raul know and they'll give it to me and I will be able to ask the questions to the candidates. Does that sound all right? Okay, great. Okay, so for starters, I'd like to, just say welcome to, Bianca and Chialoka for just running for VP for Activities and Opportunities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take turns. You can give a 2-minute opening statement, and then we will move on to questions from the crowd. And so who would like to go first? Chialoka? Yeah, it's Chialoka. Would you like to go first? So it's completely up to you.
Oh, this is work. Well, hi everyone. My name is Shloka, third-year student studying biochemistry, and I'm looking to run for the Vice President for Activities and Opportunities. I've put myself forward for this role because I believe I really want to make a difference to students, especially first-year students looking to start at university. Because what I've done from my current research, I found that student engagement with activities is fairly low, and I feel that with my input, I can make sure that any newly formed student activities are put at the forefront of the student website, so that it's easily accessible. And and I also want to make sure that all activities and opportunities are more inclusive for everybody, regardless of background, academic ability, and all that stuff. What I've also found is that students who tend to do activities are more rounded, so when they leave university, they become more employable. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for that. So Bianca?
Hi everyone, I'm Bianca. I'm a management and marketing student on year 3. I want to be a vice president for activities and opportunities because I want to give students the opportunity to learn new skills and develop new experiences, to make new friends and find their passion. One of my aims is to bring back the sports teams. I know before the pandemic we had a cheerleading team, and I know we have plenty of competitions between schools, and I want to bring that back. I want to work with the employability team to create more volunteering experience for students. I want to create more volunteering opportunities for students within the student union, as in marketing, in social marketing, to bring more awareness about what we are doing. And that's it. That's what I'm standing for.
Okay, thank you for that. I did also want to introduce, so there are other candidates, so just letting you know that all candidates were invited. Unfortunately, not everyone can make it. We've all got different commitments, right? So the other candidates that are also running for VP for Activities and Opportunities is Carol D'Amico, we've got Sukechna Aluzuz, and we've got Max Strassman. Max has also provided a statement for me to read out to you, so I will read that out. Hi, my name is Max. Unfortunately, I could not attend today because of a number of circumstances beyond my control. I'm currently a final year student. I have a high presence on campus and will always try to make time to listen to you. I have previously been a part-time officer for the School of Computing and Digital Media for 2 consecutive years. I'm running for 2 positions. Number 1, Vice President for Activities and Opportunities, and number 2, an NUS conference delegate. I am running for these positions because I believe I can dedicate myself to improving your life at the university. I am running for this position as, although we are making great progress here before COVID, the steep learning curve that it involved meant that attention to other details involving sports, societies, verb media, and other in-person events took a huge step backwards. My aim for the coming year is to turn that back into progress. As I could not be here today, if anyone has any questions for me, please contact me at votemaxlmu@gmail.com. Max your life, vote Max. Okay, so this is where we kind of like open questions up to the public. Are there any questions? Well, fortunately, we did come prepared. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question where each candidate. So I'll ask a question. It's up to you who would like to answer first. What do you think are the main barriers to participation for students at London Met within activities and opportunities? And what are your ideas for increasing student engagement within student groups if you were elected? Would you like me to repeat the question?
It's fine.
Yeah? Okay.
Actually, yeah, sorry, can you repeat the question?
No problem. I know it's a bit of a lengthy question. So, what do you think are the main barriers to participation for students within activities and opportunities at London Met? And what are your ideas for increasing this student engagement within student groups if you were elected?
So for the first question, I'm not sure I can quite put my finger on it. I think it's possibly due to the advertising of activities not being promoted very well on the student website. So I think students want to engage, but I think they just find it quite difficult because when they sort of look around, they don't quite see it. It's always in their face, as in, say, for example, as you know now with the virus now, you know it's everywhere, front page and everywhere else. But I think with activities, so students can't seem to find where it's found. So yeah, I think that's the main issue. I think it's more down to them not being able to find it more as opposed to them not wanting to do it. And sorry, what was the second question?
So the second question is, what are your ideas for increasing student engagement within student groups?
Yeah, so my idea is to improve it is to any new student newly formed activities will be placed on the front page as well. So students haven't got to look far from it as well. As well as that, I'll be looking to add posters in front of the university and outside the area as well. So students don't have to feel they have to go emailing student unions as well, bombarding them with emails saying, where are the activities, where are this, that, and the other. So yeah, I just want to make it more easy accessible for students. In essence.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Bianca, would you like me to repeat the question for you as well? Yeah, no problem. So, what do you think are the main barriers to participation for students in activities and opportunities at London Met? And the second part of the question is what your ideas are to increase this student engagement within if you were elected.
So for the first part, I think as the past experience, what happened in the past, like all the COVID and everything, everyone is a bit scared, and we need more engagement through advertising because I ask students and they don't know what's going on within the university, and to engage them, I think to give more training to student reps to engage with students, and that's my answer.
Thank you so much. So I will give it another question. So it is what initiatives do you no sorry what do you think are the main priorities for students at London Met when it comes to activities and opportunities? So you've mentioned things about training for student reps and things like that and making it more accessible. But what do you feel are priorities for students when it comes to looking at activities and opportunities here? What does it mean to them?
I just feel the activities should be more inclusive. So students, obviously, activities that should be of students' interest. Often I feel like there's a lot of activities that are there that students aren't really interested in, but I thought they feel they should sort of just jump into it because so it appears they're more employable, but they don't really enjoy the activity. So I'd want the activities a bit more inclusive to students and definitely to pique the students' interest. So yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think activities should be more inclusive and also give students the opportunity to actually start societies and groups based on their passions and what they want to do to expand their skills and learn something new from other people.
Thank you so much. Should I ask you one last question or should I let you go? One more? Okay, um, so what initiatives to support volunteering or employability would you like to see introduced at London Met?
So, sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, no problem. So, what initiatives to support volunteering or employability would you like to see introduced at London Met?
I think with regards to volunteering, I think obviously as well as academic based volunteering skills like to be seen, more volunteering to be done outside the area as well, like within the Islington area as well, like helping people with stuff like tutoring and stuff, like tutoring. And sorry, what was the other part of the question?
Employability.
Oh yeah, so with employability, I feel there should be more opportunities for students to gain some outside experience based on their course. So for instance, during the course, I feel there should be more like internship based roles as well, so students get a first hand of what what sort of jobs they'll be looking to get to when they graduate. So yeah, that'll be my answer.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
No problem. So what initiatives to support volunteering and employability would you like to see introduced at London Met?
Well, for the volunteering part, I think we should ask students as well, like what volunteering experiences do they want to see, and for the working, like I think they need more opportunities for internships and part-time jobs within the university and from external employers. That's it.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Just a big, honestly, just thank you so much. And I think now we can let you go. Okay, so just put this here for now. So now I'm going to introduce. Oh, sorry. So now I'm going to introduce the candidates for equity and welfare. So first off, can we have Kerry? Kerry Draghi? And then can we have Sharon Foster? Here's a mic to share between the two.
Yeah, I'm reading as well from this. I've got to juggle that.
No problem. I will also introduce, unfortunately, Perpetua Okeke could not be present, but after each candidate brings in their statement, I will also then read Perpetua's statement. Okay, so Kerry, would you like to go first?
Yeah. My name is Kerry Draghi, and I am running for Vice President of Welfare and Equity. I'm here today because I'm very passionate about helping to create a world where everyone is treated equally and free from violence. If you elect me, I promise to always listen to and work with you on the issues that students from marginalised groups face daily. I am the Our Streets Now ambassador here, and I already have experience working with members of the SU and university staff on sexual violence reporting procedures. I also have written informative documents and fundraiser events. I also volunteered at Bromley Women's Aid. A few of my ideas for how we can build a more inclusive environment at London Met: to develop student-led workshops on consent, sexual harassment, and gender inclusivity to student groups, and empower students to help host these workshops. Another really important thing for me is that we campaign for our Vice Chancellor to sign the pledge to stop using non-disclosure agreements to silence students and staff who report sexual violence, and that the university actively work with students to build a more supportive environment for people who experience sexual violence. I've actually already heard back from our Vice Chancellor to say that she is signing this pledge, but I also think that it's very important that she work with us on these issues because we are the ones facing them. My last point. To develop frequent drop-in sessions at the SU for mental health support, sexual health, and gender-based violence or discrimination support. I think the best way to do this, if in the SU's budget, is that we hire professionals from local charities such as North London Rape Crisis to deliver these. This would be important to London Met because they would be funding important charities but also fulfilling their goal to be a university that leads the way for positive social change. Lastly, my slogan: vote Kerry, vote equality.
Thank you, Carrie. Sharon?
Thank you. Good evening, guys. My name is Sharon. So I'm losing my voice. I'm gaining my voice back, actually. To be honest, about 2 weeks ago, I was standing in the main reception and I was looking at the board and I saw the advert for elections and I was thinking, I don't know the current president. That's weird. I normally do know the presidents. So now I know her. So I left it at that, and a few days after, I got a phone call at home. Somebody was just calling me, just encouraging me to run. Honestly, I didn't imagine myself running for nothing, not even for the boss, honestly. So I said to her, "Oh, that's not for me. I don't think I can do that." And she did something. She reminded me that I'm already doing that. I've got a natural tendency to helping students. I'm a success coach. I'm also a student curriculum partner, and I do challenge stuff for students. I rally for students, and these are natural tendency that's within me. And the reason why I run for this post is I've got an issue with the curriculum here at London Met. It needs to be more inclusive. Students need to be able to relate to it. As a widening participation university, I believe that as they take in every and all student, they need to be able to cater for us in regards to the curriculum, and also they need to be more mindful of students' welfare as well, mental health, in terms of low workload and their expectations of us as students as well. And if I'm elected for this role, I will fight above and beyond for students. I'll be available to students. I want to be able to speak with students. I want to be where students are. As a student, I've experienced that, and my passion is to continue to help students at London Met. I love this university, and it's got a lot of potential, and it's doing a lot for students like myself. This is my first degree. I'm not the first in my family to go to university. I'm the second, actually, but coming here as widening my knowledge, my experience, things that I've never experienced, things that I've never known before. And it's my passion to help students who are like myself to gain these experience and also to be successful students and to be able to move out of their current situation into a better one. So vote for Sharon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon and Carrie. Both great opening statements. And the third candidate, Perpetua's statement. Okay, so I'm going to read it out. Give me a minute. Okay, cool. My name is Perpetua Okeke. I am currently a final year student of economics and finance. I am aspiring for the role of VP for Equity and Welfare, as I love to impact the lives of people around me positively in any environment I find myself in. And also, I love to look after people's well being, hence, I'm standing for this role and I need your support. This position is a new office in the Students' Union, and its primary purpose is to protect the welfare of our students and also to ensure that there is equality among students. No one is feeling marginalized. I strongly believe that the welfare of the students is one of the keys to attaining academic excellence. Therefore, it is important for students to elect someone who understands their interests and also one who is committed to protect such interests. I'm therefore seeking your vote and support as I offer myself to serve as your VP for Equity and Welfare Officer. Why you should vote for me? I sincerely believe that I have the necessary skills and ability to function effectively as the Vice President of Equity and Welfare if elected. During my National Youth Service Corps program in my country, I served as the vice president of my community development service program as a volunteer. I believe the experience that I gathered will then help me in functioning effectively and efficiently as that VP if I were elected. What I seek to achieve, sorry, one second, my glasses are falling off. What I seek to achieve. Number one, to work with the university authorities and the students union team to ensure that all the school cafes in each building are open for students to easily access them, and to ensure that the restaurants on campus sells food that represents the diverse nature of all students. Number two, to create awareness and encourage students to take the advantage of the various student support services available on campus, such as the Student Council, Counseling and Wellbeing Center. Number three, to ensure that the union's programs are centered on promoting the culture of equality, diversity, and inclusion. Number four, to promptly respond to complaints or challenges faced by the students regarding their well-being. And number five, to ensure that students are treated equally, that no one is marginalized based on race, color, gender, or sexual orientation. I am determined to ensure that your well-being as a student is among the Students' Union priority, as your growth and development depends on it. Please vote Perpetua Okeke for VP for Equity and Welfare. A vote for me is a vote for you. Look forward to serving you soon. Oh, this takes me back to when I was campaigning. It's great. Okay, so this is where I kind of open up. Are there any questions from the students? I'm already scrolling to my questions, don't worry. Okay, so it's up to you who would like to answer first. Just let me know. So the first question is, this role will involve working closely with the 4 part-time liberation officers. So how do you see yourself working with these liberation officers?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this because I actually already have experience working with Mim Hussein, who is the women's officer. And in regards to how to do it, I think it's just about making contact, because I find the liberation officers and everyone at the SU to be very friendly. And yeah, I have experience doing that because we've done like a few events together, such as the fundraiser bake sale, which is for the Women and Girls Network. They help women and girls who experience gender-based violence. So yeah, I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can I have the question again, please?
Yeah. So this role will involve working closely with the 4 part-time liberation officers. How do you see yourself doing this?
As a team, first of all, and I think communication is the key, and just putting the students' need first, whilst working together, making sure that we've got the students' voice written over everything that we're doing, making sure that they count what they say counts.
Thank you. So I've just gotten a question. So one is for both of you. So you both have mentioned inclusion quite often. So in what way do you strive for inclusion, and what do you mean by inclusion? So how will you achieve this? How do you strive? What does it mean?
Okay. Yeah, for this one, I think because one person cannot represent everyone without hearing their input. So I think I would work very closely with the liberation officers, students. So, for example, another one in my manifesto was that I organise regular drop-in sessions, like coffee mornings, with myself as the welfare VP and any student from a marginalised group that wants to connect and just share their ideas about how we can best support each other. But another one, I also think like reaching out to the Liberation Society. So like we have an LGBT plus one. So that's how I would do it. I would reach out directly and I would organize a space where we can like talk about how best we want to support each other, really.
Thank you.
Thank you. Inclusion, that speaks volume in itself, and it's not just a specific area, but it's holistic throughout the university when it comes down to inclusion. for me. As well as working with the liberation officer, I want to work with the education officer. I want to work with the I'm nervous. I also want to work with the student curriculum partners as well. I want to work with lecturers. I want to take it to that level where I know that lectures are inclusive. You know, for me personally, I would like to sit in on lectures. I don't really want to let them know I'm coming to sit in a lecture today. I would like to just walk into a lecture, and when I look at the lecture that's happening, it's inclusive where students at all levels should be able to access that. I want to look at for example, literature that we read. It should be inclusive. We should be able to relate to things like that. You understand? I want the welfare of these students as well, because if that's not in place, you understand, it affects the welfare of the students. And as student ambassador as well, I've spoken to a lot of students within that area, and these are some of the struggles that they have. As a success coach, I already work with students in regards to assessment, to teach them skills, to help them to develop these skills so it can be a more inclusive, you understand, environment for them. And also as a curriculum partner, I also assess modules and lessons and lectures. So these are some of the things that I've done already, you understand, to make London Met a more inclusive environment. I've also emailed Zainab on issues like these already. I had a meeting with her, and I know that I think it was last year, teachers were trained and they are now looking on the curriculum, and I need to see evidence of that as well. I haven't seen much of that yet, even though we're a student curriculum partner, and that's a big step at us monitoring these things, but there's still a long way to go. So yeah, I think that's some other way that we can do that.
Thank you for that. It's actually interesting that you were just talking about the inclusivity in curriculum, because I actually had a question for you from a student. So, but because you've also like mentioned that, you can just kind of talk about it briefly. Can you expand on having an inclusive curriculum at London Met? Why do you not find that the curriculum, the current curriculum, why do you find that it isn't inclusive? And what changes would you like to see made to the curriculum?
For example, resources, literatures. So I've come across a lot of students who are unable to relate to the readings that they have here. And to me, it's like a wide curriculum. We're not able to relate to it. If you look on the authors of these literatures, they're not from our background, they're not from our culture, and we need to see some of those within the university, because there are people from our culture, from Africa, Jamaica, all over the world, who are also academical, who also write about these areas as well. They can involve these literature within. For example, I was looking at a specific module, and one of the questions was, how could this be more inclusive? For example, they were looking at European and American literature, and my comment was, those are not the only countries that have these literature, so they need to have more of other cultural things, more based within our curriculum, where we can relate to that, to be honest. So that's one of the problems that I find. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to ask you one last question. So this is for both of you. So what are your top 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year action plan if you get elected?
I think I need time to think that over.
You and me both, don't worry. So what are your top 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year action plan if you get elected?
1 month, 3 months.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, 3 months. So what do you want to accomplish in 3 months? What do you want in 6 months? And what do you want in a year if you get elected?
One of the issues that was made aware to me was the counseling and the sessions. I will try and work with this department in trying to raise the amount of sessions that students get. I heard that they only get 6 sessions during counseling, and to be honest, that's not a lot when you're going through issues with family, issues with work, issues with university, and stuff like that. So that's one of the things I want to look into, to be honest. And 6 months, I would like to continue to work with the student curriculum partners, looking at the modules and see how the teaching and learning could develop and be more inclusive, where students are more able to relate to that, and it also shorten the awarding gap for Black students as well. So I want to see that number changed, because when I looked on the website, it was 57 to 80 or 81, which is a large gap. So I want to see that gap close. I want to close that awarding gap, to be honest.
Thank you for that.
So yeah, I think I've already discussed my goals. So I'll explain which ones I think are more short term and easier to do. I think the workshops, and I'd also like feedback from students on what sort of workshop they'd like to do. So I think having students lead workshops on consent and sexual harassment and gender would be short term, because I just need to have it promoted by the SU marketing team and reach out to them as well, because I think that with people from marginalized groups, unless you actively seek out their voice, you're not always going to hear them. So it's good to make that contact straight away. In terms of what might take longer, I think so the university working with students on sexual violence is currently kind of difficult. So I do work with them on this issue. I'm in the sexual violence working group, but that's because I've actively sought out that opportunity. But university staff and the senior leadership need to make it more clearer to us that we should be involved in these things, because right now we don't really know where to go. And yeah, so also with the drop-in sessions, I think this is like a pretty feasible thing, because the university has a budget, so they can put it in and put their money where their mouth is, basically, and fund important charities and important causes. So like mine is for mental health, North London rape crisis, and this is like for our sessions. So we can have professionals leading the way and giving us advice on these issues that are really important to us and really affect our well-being. I mean, if we're going to get personal here, when it comes to sexual violence at university, there is very much a dropout rate for students who are survivors of this. Like, there's also a lot of them will miss lectures, they won't go to classes to avoid the perpetrator. And that's like a really important issue to me. I think it's something we need to be working on now. So that's my short term.
Thank you so much. So those are really, really great points, and thank you so much. I think safe to say that everyone understands now like what it is that you are really working towards, and it's really great. So thank you so much. Give it up for Sharon and Carrie. Okay, so now I would like to invite the candidates who are running for VP of Education to the stage. So, can I first invite Jean? And Tamika Chambers.
One, two, one, two. Okay.
Okay, so would you like to go first and give your opening statement?
Introduction.
Yeah.
Sure. Hi guys, good evening. So my name is Jin and my Chinese name is Xu Jingqiao, but I know Jin is very easy for you to pronounce. And also I use this name for many years. It's okay for me. And so I'm really glad to stand here and stand for VP Education. Honestly, it's my first time running for an election, and that's my very first time in my life. So I just treat it like a very good experience and expect nothing, but really glad to be here with all you guys. And also, currently I'm an representative from interested groups of student activities committee and also the event and welfare officer of the MUN. So in the past 1 year, this academic year, I have seen that we made really a lot of progress in terms of serving the students and also serve the student unions and all of our groups. So I hope that in the next academic year, I will see you again and to continue using my skills, and not just as a student leader, but also like a public servant at the uni to represent the students and listen to different voice from different backgrounds, different cultures. And also we are here and it is such a international university and also international city in London. So we know that we need more equality and we need more voice. And also I hope, like what I wrote in my statement, I hope to create a more dynamic, diverse and more inclusive and more creative community at uni. So, and also I hope to improve more things. For example, the we can improve diversity of our classrooms because I received some feedbacks from students. They expect more options of their courses, especially optional courses. For example, in terms of my major translation, we only have options for the courses like inner or field, not just, for example, we can choose science or arts, that courses. So I hope we can improve issues like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Tamika, would you like to go ahead?
Hello. Hi everyone, my name is Tamika. I'm running for Vice President of Education. A little bit about me. I am currently studying a BA Honours Education degree, so which is quite fitting for the role I'm going for. I've served as student representative for 3 years, which involves obviously hearing feedback from students, talking to lecturers, engaging with other members of other members of the student union as well to help create change for students' academic progresses, basically. My goal is to ensure that every student here at London Met receives the best quality education they can get. Also to, excuse me. Sorry. The words left my head. It's my birthday today, by the way, guys. Sorry, okay. I would like to represent your voice on a larger scale and be a part of the changes that you feel are necessary for the university. I want to ensure that you all have excellent quality of teaching, learning, access to all resources, to train future student reps, to work on some of the issues, honestly, that I found as student rep concerning like the mitigation processes, outcomes, exams, assessments. I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but some people do not put their similarity boxes on their Turnitin boxes, and that could be a problem for some students. And I feel like to be more of an inclusive place, we need to take these things into consideration. Also, another thing is the mitigation process. I believe that it's the 40% cap that gets me. I'm not sure if you don't mitigate. I'm sorry, I'm not even going to go there. Basically, what I was going to say was that I think the mitigation process should be more fairer, as you know, students face issues within their lives on a daily. They have family commitments, they might have mental health issues and things like that. So for them to only have the opportunity to receive a 40% is, you know, I think it's a bit of a disadvantage in a way, and we should, you know, like, I'm so sorry, the words have left me again. I'm so sorry, but let me be your voice. I want to hear your thoughts and your feelings, and I want to represent you as best as I can and be your voice, because together we are better.
Okay, so thank you so much. Great opening statements from the both of you. So now, are there any questions from the students? I got it. It's okay. Okay, so first question I have for both of you. This role will involve working closely with student reps and the school rep assistants. How do you see yourself doing this?
Well, for me, actually, before I came to UK, I already have several years work experience. So it's like very different fields, like in IT, education, or diplomacy. So, and also my bachelor's degree is related to business and management. So I think I have worked with really plenty of different peoples and with different backgrounds. And also in my past half-year study, I worked like as an officer in MAUN or in the student activities committee. I think we worked really good, and also we sometimes discuss as a group in the classroom, or sometimes we like remote or just send emails. I think the most important point is that we need to follow the deadline, and also we need communication. So communication for not just for the like president or VP, but also for everyone. And every time we need to communicate with each other. And also, I think for me, it is not a problem because I already got experience. For example, in the Southeast Asia, I worked as an international volunteer. And at that time, I was the only Chinese there and to teach the local people's English. So I really love helping others. And also, that's why I'm here. And also, I worked for the maybe 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I worked for the UN Youth Project and do the translation for them. It is also related to the education, some projects that for young students to get a scholarship and to the UN. So I think those programs and experience are based on my knowledges and skills, and also they enhanced me, and also that's why I can be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this role will involve working closely with the student reps and the school rep assistants. How do you see yourself doing this?
Okay, first of all, I'd say I'll do it in a fun, inclusive manner. I think it's important that students enjoy being a student rep and don't feel like it's a chore. I would campaign for, you know, incentives to be student rep as well. You know, even if it's a little gift voucher or something, it doesn't have to be a whole wage, but just something, you know, to show student reps that they are appreciated and valued as well. And also maybe some regular meetings with student reps as well, so that they can all come together and deliberate together and, you know, figure out solutions together as one voice.
Thank you. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah.
I think that, so the main issue was that some lecturers do not put the similarity report on. So students would just submit their work and not have the opportunity for that. I want to make sure that that's standard, that everyone gets to check their work before they submit.
Thank you. Okay, so So, okay. Well, I'm going to ask this question that I just got on my lovely piece of paper. And if you have access to another piece of paper, please write it down so you can give it to one of my lovely colleagues who will give that piece of paper to me. Thank you. Okay, so the next question I have for you is, how do you get students to be interested in representing their peers as students have other lifestyles outside the academic world? So why should they be bothered about education if they also have other things about them? That's what they're asking.
Because being a student rep is a very good experience. It helps you to communicate with the people in your class. It helps you to communicate with lecturers. It can get you into other positions. Like the opportunity, I probably wouldn't have found it today had I have not been a student rep. So I think it's important that we have these experiences so that we can, explore our horizons and open our eyes to new things and experience new things.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. So how do you get students to be interested in representing their peers as students have other lifestyles and other commitments outside the academic world?
Yes, I think sometimes we did have a lot of, for example, assignments, deadlines, and also even sometimes it's during holiday. For example, last Christmas, so we have a lot of deadlines during holidays. Actually, we don't have much time to see emails or to communicate with each other, but so here I am, and also I one of my statement I mentioned that we will avoid the like racism and to avoid bullying, something like that. And also we need to improve the timetable and communication between students and students representative. They are all the voices of all the London Math students because they are a rep from their major, from their class, so they know more information than every other students, and also they can get the first-hand news from their major and from their course leader. So if we do keep contact and we communicate with them very well, and then we know more students' voice, so it also help us to improve our education, and also we will communicate with other departments. For example, the events or activities officers together. For example, we can organize some events together to make students stand up and listen their voice, what they're feeling, and also what they think maybe we need to improve. And also we can know more their actions so that we know what we shall do and we shall improve next. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think there's clearly a lot of interest in education, but I think that should be the final question. So thank you so much for joining us, and give it up for Jean and Tamika. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, so the moment a lot of people have been waiting for, our presidential candidates, i.e. the people. Let's go. So, first up we have Denise Morrison. Second, we have Matthew Babb. Third, we have Mikhail. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name. And the fourth, we have Jane Abbas. We also have our fifth presidential candidate named William. Unfortunately, William was not able to make it today. There are no more chairs. I will stand. I don't mind. It's okay. Oh well, I'll share. No. Please sit. Don't worry. Yeah. Denise. Sit.
I don't want to sit.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll probably share some mics here because we just have two. So I'm gonna give that to Denise and then Jane. share here. Is that? That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so so up first, giving their opening statement, we have Denise.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Right. So I'm Denise Morrison, the full-time officer for the School of Social Sciences and Profession, and I'm running for president. And my reason for running for president is just to continue the work that I'm doing. Over the years, I've been through the whole process, being a student rep, all of the above, curriculum, partners, everything. And I really enjoy London Met. I love London Met because London Met has given me the opportunity, as well as thousands of other students from across the world who have actually come to this university to realize their dreams. And I would like to basically transcend that to whoever comes. And I want to continue to do the work and encourage students to basically be the best they can be. So the work that I've been doing over the years is, speaking out for students, being proactive, working, answering their concerns, signposting them to the right people, and actually, standing up for their concerns and needs. And I'd like to continue to do that because at the end of the day, if there's no students, there's no London Met. So we need the students and we have to look after them. So for me, that is why I'm here, and I have loads of things that I would like to contribute, to the program, but I let my other candidates say their piece. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask that you all really speak in the mic when you're talking?
So like this, speak into the mic because we'll be live streaming.
It's okay.
Oh, don't worry, everyone heard you.
Oh, you heard me.
Yeah. Okay, but candidates going forward, just speak into the mic like this so that YouTube can also pick us up. Okay? Okay, so Matthew, would you like to give your opening statement?
Yes, I would. Can everyone hear me? All right. How are you doing today? Yeah? Now, first thing first, what I want to say is thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you for the lovely candidates who stood. You guys are doing a great, amazing thing. I want to see a great campaign moving forward, right? That's the most important thing. Just as Denise said, without students, there's no London Met. Okay, so get our message, get your message out to as many students as possible. That's the most important thing. Okay, now. I joined London Met in 2017. I came from Trinidad and Tobago, so I'm an international student myself, and the SU was my home. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends. I was very, very lonely. I didn't know London. I didn't know anything. So I came, I joined, I met really amazing people. Some of them are actually still here in the crowd. And I learned to become a better version of myself. Before coming here, I would never stand, I wouldn't be sitting down in this position speaking to you guys saying that I want to be your president. I wouldn't be sitting here telling you that I want to be your number one candidate for student empowerment. It's the time that I spent here that made me understand how, at this point in our life, what we're supposed to be doing is taking charge of where we want to go and what our destinies really is supposed to be. And this is your playground. This is your playground. This is London Metropolitan University. This is a place that you all belong to, and you're supposed to come here to achieve your full potential. And I believe together that we can do that. That's what I believe personally. That's my values. I like being transparent. That's me, right? So some of the things that I want to achieve in my year as president, hopefully, is basically bringing the SU back to where it used to be. I was elected as a full-time officer in 2020, I believe. I can't remember. I've been here for a long time. And in the time I was here, I worked towards inclusivity in sports, trying to get more voluntary roles in sustainability, and a lot of other different things. But the pandemic really hit the SU hard. It hit a lot of SUs around the UK hard. So you find that not a lot of students are actually actively participating. And I don't know if you noticed with our university, you heard some candidates mention it before. Students don't know, students don't know what's going on, right? So what I want to do, and I have 30 seconds left, I want to revamp our student media network. I want to see more SU screens putting students back into the spotlight. I want student lockers, that's so we can actually put our stuff in safe places and things like that. And I want more student-centric events, bringing employers and networking opportunities, so moving forward, we can actually live the lives that we want to actually live by coming to university. That's it. I'm done. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you. Okay, so next, actually, would you like to pass that for Jane for when she gives hers? So, would you like to?
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Jane.
Hello, my name is Shiva Jain. I'm an MBA student and I will graduate hopefully in July. I would like to start with a leader is someone who identifies the student needs and problems as well as solutions to what is possible. So I try to choose my aims, what is possible for the students, which are, and I have to say a bit more about myself. I got elected in November 2020 as a part-time officer, as a student trustee. So I've had the opportunity to look at and to look, see, and hear what are the students' real problems. And one of their problems is about the cap mark. I'm not sure how, I think it's about 40%. And I know there is a deep research done for that to increase it to 65%. Also, the other issue is regarding antisocial behaving mentality. So I would like to develop a project which is included with the references to written blogs, and introduce a new method which is introduced by Harvard Business Review for antisocial behaving like racism, sexual harassment, and bullying. And the other option, I found one opportunity that government has increased the funding and grants, because due to being a trustee, I had to focus on financial matters. So I dig into to the London Met University finance performances, and they cannot afford to fund the student union with anything, because they invested about 79 million pounds for retirement. So I found one opportunity that there is increase in student funding and grants. So I would like to go for that as well. And then improvement in the timetables. I think I'm not sure if it's still a issue, but for a few years it was an issue. For example, I myself, I always had a problem with receiving my timetables. I received them like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, which I believe the first day when you attend to your class is very important. And that's it really from me. And do I need to go on about my manifesto or just the aims? If I still got time, why I could be a good student president is because I'm very passionate about people's student needs. I love identifying the student needs and problems, and find the future risk, current risk and future risk, and turning them out to opportunity. I like applying innovation in strategies, and because I studied MBA, I think it's quite a fit role for me, because I can apply the tools, the techniques, everything I've learned, I can apply them. I studied very hard. So what's for me? Thank you.
No, you can. So Nicole, would you like to give your opening?
Yeah, of course, I want to. Yeah. Hi guys. How's it going? Okay? Still alive? I hope so. Yeah, so my name is Michał. I'm a first year student at London Met. I study architecture. I'm from Poland, just a very small village from Poland. Yeah, so I think that's enough from me, but let's talk about you. How can I help you? Yeah, so firstly, I'm going to mention about a very important thing for me, which is just socializing with each others, because as you probably know, a union and London Met It's a wonderful thing, it's a beautiful thing, which we create together. So, if we are creating this thing together, I strongly believe that after coronavirus and stuff like that, like my friend mentioned before, it's not like definitely the same. So, I mean that not all of the people, honestly, I will give you like very honest stuff from myself. I feel a part of London Met and I feel a half of it, and London Met in my life means like really special something for me. Yeah, but not everyone has the same feeling. And every day when I walk in the corridor or stuff like that, I see people which are not very sure if the student union work like that and stuff like that. So if you can like create more events and socialize people together, I think everybody can feel firstly safe and secondly very comfortable with it and will be engaged with the student union. Yeah, so I also want to mention about our campuses. I love any of our campuses, but I'm a student at Allgate and Calcutta. And then I feel that here is any of them are very cool, but in Allgate and Calcutta, we don't have as much events like here. So what I'm going to do, maybe I'm just going a little bit increase it and bring people there as well. So that will be a cool thing for me because I strongly believe that any of us, independently of our historical background, our family background, where we are from. Yeah, personally, I'm from a very small place, and it really doesn't matter for me if somebody's gender, somebody's background, because every of us has the same needs, and every of us needs to feel very safe, very comfortable, and create this stuff together. Yeah, so that's the thing, and any other stuff which I could recommend, and I would love to achieve, is also creating opportunities and push them with the other universities. So that will be a lovely thing for me. And yeah, I would like to guarantee you that even if I don't win, I'm more than happy to bring the ideas from my colleagues and other candidates. And even if the others candidates don't win, I'm more than happy to use their ideas. Yeah, because we create this together. So that's all for me. Thank you very much for it and vote for me. Yeah?
Thank you so much, Mikhail. Okay, so we have our first question from a student. So this is for all the candidates, so you can take turns answering. So what are your opinions on the school building? Many students can agree that a big part of the building is outdated or not well looked after. So as a president, how do you seek to change this, if at all? Who would like to answer first? Matt?
I'm answering first simply because it's literally the first thing on my manifesto. I'm very interested in what the university is actually doing with the building. I was confused after the pandemic that when we came back, the building looked the same. There was a whole year where this university could have did something, and I was just like, there was an opportunity missed. Were we not thinking that we were going to come back? What were we thinking? Students have said the exact same thing to me. And with my officer team, when I was an officer, one of the things that we gave for feedback is we wanted more gender neutral toilets. So you can actually notice that they've made some of those changes. And I think moving forward, we actually need to start consulting with students about what kind of campus that they actually want. So I know how to run focus groups. I'm happy to run focus groups. I love to hear what students have to say. And I think by looking at what we actually have to offer at the moment, and then figuring out where we want to be as a student community in London Met, that's how we start tackling this issue. At one point, they wanted to bring all the students to this campus, that's including the students from Allgate, but Allgate students love to have their own space, and even the SU space in Allgate is not really up to standard and up to code. So I have two things that, like, in my first 3 months, I want to get done, which is get some new student screens to, like I said, put you guys back in the spotlight. These student screens should have, like, any activities that we have going on, any promotions that we want to actually, promote for students, any events. You're talking your Black History Months, you're talking your societies, your sports, all of this stuff to get students in these spaces. And then we can actually start having the conversations about what provisions we have for sport, what provisions we have for societies, what provisions do we have for studying. Some of the chairs that are around here, they're old and dusty and they have stains on them that you're questioning, like, what's this? I don't want to sit here. And that's not good. You want to come to university and you want to feel like, comfortable in the space that you're studying. I know where the university wants to take things, but I think they're taking a bit too long, and I really want to actually move forward with that. Another big thing is I want student lockers for us. A lot of students actually come to university. I heard about a student who lost her Mac the other day. That's not a good thing. I want to actually have a space that we can come here and be secure. So in short, that's what I think about the student facilities. So I'll let my other candidates speak.
Thank you, Matthew. Well, for me, in regards to the whole infrastructure of the university, there is a lot to be done. And when I mean a lot. And one of my arguments would be, when can this be done? There's a lot of things that we need to take into consideration when it comes to building construction, all of the above. But unless we basically put that argument out there, there's nothing that will be done, if that makes sense. So for me, there's a lot of rooms and they're not being used as they could be used much better. And basically, like the walls, they're all worn out. It really looked really tacky. And for me, I will definitely be speaking to the senior leadership team in regards to what can be done and how quickly these changes can be done. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the environment where students are studying is really comfortable and looks good. And that will definitely help with their mental state. Because if you're coming into an environment and you're seeing things look dreary, it does reflect on you. So for me, nice bright colors, nice place looking, like home away from home, if that makes sense. But somewhere that you can actually feel comfortable. So I'll be definitely speaking to the authorities or the senior leadership team in how we can really use those facilities to really better the university. Another point that I would like to make in regards to, using the rooms and the areas in a good way is actually providing a space for mature students who have childcare. And this is also a part of my manifesto, where I'm definitely championing that change. I know for a couple of years ago, there used to be, that facility here. So if I can, and I'm just saying this because I can relate, I'm a mom, I have 10 children, and I literally, when I tell people all of these things, they tend to say, what? And I'm just saying to you guys, when you have children, there's a lot of things that you need to consider when studying at the same time, trying to balance everything. It is hard work. But guess what? As long as you determine within yourself that you can do it, anything is possible. So if I can actually use that space to help our mature students, even if it's not to have the nursery or whatever on campus, but at least we can have some collaboration with the community and get some subsidized places or whatever it can be. I know that will definitely transcend into students really performing better and not to worry about rushing home and all of the dramas. So things like that, that's what I'll be basically using up the place, using up the infrastructure in a better way, and also making students feeling more at home. All right, thank you so much. Oh, you have one.
Regarding the question, well, I have to see if it's possible for the university to be able to spend that much money to, to change the look of the university, because we have to be realistic. If they can't afford the work, they're going to get the money. So I think it's better to give it in-depth research, insights, to see if there is possibility to do it. And then it's going to be a very long, I don't think in the first year it can be done, because it needs, planning, risk management, opportunity management. The first president, for this year president, all they can do to get the roots ready for the next presidency and look for opportunities, because I love London Met, because London Met gave me a chance to change my life. And then I think it's better to look for opportunities for London Met as well as student unions. If I don't mention it, it's always part of it. So I think I need a team to give it in depth insights to know if we can, is it possible, or if it's not possible. Because if we ask them, they're going to come up with the risk, and they will say, because of this reason we can't do it. So before they give me the answer, I would like to do the research, and when they send them the proposal, so there wouldn't be any issue. They would come and say, oh, we can't do that because of this or that. So I think it's better to go for things that is possible, because the small changes make big differences. Don't forget to slash me 2 or 3, please.
Yeah, so firstly, thanks for the question. Very interesting, especially for me, because I study architecture. So my passion are buildings and space, so I'm quite crazy about it. Yeah, so firstly, obviously, we need to make sure that it's possible, but I think that even little changes, like baby steps, can make a really great difference in our lives. Because a lot of students live basically the same like me in a very small single room. So we need to spend a lot of time at the university to study. So that's why is the answer why the space is so important. But we also need to make sure that everybody is different. So what I would like to change, like a very small changes, is like to obviously make the space comfortable for everyone. But I mean, as a good example, it could be to create a gender neutral toilets, because if everyone is different, then it will be quite difficult and quite challenging to make something sustainable for everyone. Yeah, but it's definitely still possible, and I strongly believe that I could achieve it. Yeah, so that's my answer. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so next question I have for you is, some students don't really feel confident with the English language, especially when the fact is, courses over here are taught in English, for the most part, except language courses. But actually, I took a language course. Never mind. So most students, we have a lot of international students. Therefore, lots of students don't really speak English as a first language. So they find that English itself is quite a barrier for them towards learning. So how are you going to help them with that? How will you help students improve their English language skills in their first year at London Met?
I'll answer that one first. Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you have students basically coming from overseas or other countries, and English is not their first language, a lot of them have a certain level of English language, and I know from time to time they do struggle. However, students, what we can do is arrange for students to have like English language classes, if that can help. But I don't think that the university would actually do that, because at the end of the day, that's going to be costing a lot of money. They do, however, have a language modules. However, I'm not sure how they will deal with that. But for me, what I would do is basically to encourage students. There's a lot of apps out there where they can actually learn. Things are more technologically inclined at this time, so they can learn on their own in how to better able for themselves to be abreast of what is happening, or how they can actually, interpret the English language. So it's not something that I would more encourage them to do that and see how best they can actually help themselves. Because at the end of the day, there's so much that the university can do. Otherwise, from that, students have to help themselves. So it's just to encourage them how to get around and try to navigate themselves into understanding how to do and how to speak English. So it's more of a self-motivated procedure that they will have to do, and eventually they will learn, because at the end of the day, most students who come like from India or stuff, they can speak a certain level of English and they can help themselves. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so English language is a key thing, I think so, and I will give you like a very short story from my life. Yeah, so I study English, and to be honest with you, I still study everyday English. So because it's a foreign language for me. Yeah, but a key story which I wanted to tell you is just about my submission, because one day I remember I write an essay. It was like a pretty easy essay. It doesn't matter about it, but I missed the information about the submission. Just I missed some kind of what I should include it, and I almost didn't pass. So that's why it's so important for anyone. And in my previous school, I studied German, Russian. I speak Polish as my mother tongue, and now I study in English. So it's like a very key thing for it. And a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my friends from different countries, we think that it's our main issue for the foreign students, because sometimes that small step, it could be really, really enormous for each others. So what I'm going to do, I know that English course is still available here at London Met, but it's not quite a lot. So first, I want to make sure that it's possible to organize more English courses. Secondly, I would love to encourage students, but give them like prepared sources, how they can study, how in their own time, and like in a very easy thing, they can improve this language. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do, and I hope that I will get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could go and answer a second one.
Yeah, Matthew, go for it.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, I shouldn't say I don't know, because I know. So the first things first is in my experience, right? When I came here, I didn't know what academic writing was. This change it to the past tense, do this, do that. These kind of rules weren't something that I was familiar with, right? And there's a speaking part of a language, and there's the understanding part of a language. So the question for people who aren't familiar with English is, yes, can you communicate in it, but also can you understand? When you're sitting down in a lecture, can you actually understand what is going on with the academic language being used, right? That could be a barrier for a lot of students who actually don't have English as a first language. I think the most important things for students would be whether or not their assessment information is concise enough so that they understand that. So like starting there, working with lecturers, working with members of staff and things like that, to actually start looking at the language being used for assessment and figuring out how accessible is that for anyone speaking a language. Like, is it clear enough? Is it concise enough? Can anyone trying to actually do this assessment understand what needs to be done to actually get the marks and things that they need to actually get, right? And then beyond that, is what provisions do we currently have? What resources do we currently have? I know the library has a lot of sessions for academic writing and things like that, but again, it's whether or not these things are well promoted, whether or not they know they can go for this support. I'm as an international student myself, I was very interested in looking to see how many international students that we do have, and since Brexit has actually gone up, so what you actually find is that there's a lot more students coming in, and they're going to actually be facing this issue. So I think more provision of resources, definitely, and more people like actually looking at their writing, and when they notice that something is going on, and when I say people, I mean the lecturers, if they notice that something is going on, signposting that student to say, listen, here's what you can improve your academic writing. A lot of the times when they give us feedback, they don't speak about how we write. I always ask my lecturers, like, what could I have put here to get more marks? And I always feel like I'm wanting something, and I need that something because I want to get a better grade. So for someone who does not speak the language, that's something that they need to actually have. So more support from the lecturers to understand that, like, look, just because someone did an IELTS test or they did some type of English test or they have a pass does not mean that they speak the Queen's language. That's not. We come from different. We're a very diverse community. We come from different places. Some English speakers I know still struggle with actually things like dyslexia, stuff like that. And when they're writing, they don't use the proper syntax that would be considered academic, so to speak. So there's a lot of levels that you actually can tackle this English thing at, not just by looking at who speaks it, but how accessible you actually try to make the language for the students and support them while they're there. So in short, that's how I approach this issue.
Well, regarding the English classes and the issue, as you mentioned, there is resources for, learning, but the problem is that students are not aware of all these facilities and services. I think the issue is that, we need to find a way to, send them students, what we do, what the university does, because there's a lot of learning materials that I'm sure most of the students are not aware of them. And then, the student representatives, they can play key roles. I got elected in 2020 as a student, representative, but I was not welcome at all. The students didn't like receiving, messages or, what's going on at the student union. So I've always been thinking, how could we, make the students aware of all these facilities, because there's plenty of them. All they got to do is register and then just follow it. And I think that would be the key to find a solution. And I think the tutors can, cooperate with the student representatives to, let them to talk about these things. If the students complain to the tutors that, we're receiving so many emails, which I personally was not sending so many, emails, only the emails that a student, union asked me to send their students. And then they should be a bit more, give the student representatives a bit of opportunity so they can promote the student union and even the London Met University's facilities. So I think everything is there. It's just they're not aware of it. That's the issue, in my opinion, from my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I have one final question for each of you. So, it's great to see what you want to do and how you want to lead and represent the students. But now, as president, you are also leading an officer team. So now my question for you is, and if you want, I can repeat it as well. This is a bit of a lengthy one. As president, one of your responsibilities would be to support and lead the Students' Union executive team, assisting other elected officers in achieving their goals and ensuring that officers work together effectively as a team, and they are accountable for their actions and are motivated to achieve their objectives. So how would you approach leading this team? Who would like to go first? McCall?
Yeah, I want to go first. Yeah, so far I think that is a very good question. Actually, it could be a quick key question. So if it's a team, I strongly believe that we should just have a look on it, like maybe not a team, but more like people. So if we will make a good relation with them, like we make sure them that they should feel comfortable with us. They should be happy with it. But it will be not a problem to do this work with everyone. So yeah, like just my idea for it is just to make everybody feel very safe, feel very comfortable with it. So just care about these people and more treat it as a family, as friends, because as you probably know, you don't really, if you see to your friend, ask something, or even for your mom or dad or others' family, it's how the big companies looks like. They are pretty sure that it's happened. So if we can do the same thing, that if you really care about these people, could change a lot. Because personally, for my previous school, I got an internship in Portugal when I used to work in IT. It was great experience for me, which literally changed my life. But then I realized that those people there is completely different relations, different connection between them. So first they have fun with their work, and secondly they're treated with other like friends and family. So yeah, that's my thought for it. Yeah.
Okay, hi everybody. All right. Sorry, can you repeat the question? That was a bit of a lengthy one.
Yep. So, as president, one of your responsibilities would be to support and lead the Students' Union executive team, assisting other elected officers in achieving their goals and ensuring that officers work together effectively as a team. So, how would you approach this?
Okay. So this kind of question comes down to what I think a leader should be. And to quickly answer that, I think a leader should be a visionary. Um, I think you need to be able to see everybody's like where they want to go, what parts of the team, who works well with what, things like that, right? And you need to be able to delegate and not micromanage people. You need to be able to be like, listen, all right, you're the VP for education. That's your thing. I'm gonna leave you to that. I want to hear from the students. We can actually work in collaboration together. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that we can actually do moving forward, and that's what I think I should be able to do as a president. I also think, in a way, that what we look to do as leaders and as students leaders look for student empowerment, right? So you have to understand that the SU has a structure that you have to respect. We have an executive committee for a reason. We have a president for a reason. We have a person in each role for a reason. So not being a tyrannical president is not something in my future at all. I literally want to listen to what everybody has to say, and then make the best decision based on the information that I have. So in essence, my goal then would be to figure out the best way that I could empower each particular group of the organization to work as effectively as possible. That's the best way I can see to do it. If we need more students for something and you need me to do something, I'm going to be there for you. At least I'm going to try to be there, because as you said, this is just one responsibility of the president, and I'm going to probably have a lot of things to do if I'm in that role. So the best way for me to do it is just by empowering the students who are actually coming to the union and trying to get them to engage as much as possible moving forward. That's the best way I can see how to do it, to be honest.
As leading and management, I think first of all, I have to adapt myself to the students' union, culture, and then from there, I will take it from there. And for any management and leadership, you need to have a business model. You need to have structures. You need to have plans. But in general, for to work as a team, the first thing to build up is trust between the teammates, to trust each other. And then if there is something like a lack of skills, there could be like, if there's possibility to have like trainings for the student officers, extra trainings, so they could add that to their CVs, as well as we could work as a team who are gaining skills, as well as they trust each other, because I believe trust is most important thing. If a team don't trust each other, I don't think anything can be done. Thank you.
Okay, for me, I have a motto, or a part of my campaign is, together, everyone achieves more. Working together as a team is paramount in any department, in any leadership organization. It doesn't matter if it's the SU, it doesn't matter if it's a big corporate organization. You have to have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is being so sensitive to the people who are around you. You can see, you don't really have to ask anything. You can see what is going on. And for me, having that skill, it will actually help everybody to work well. We have to have respect for each other. We have to have integrity. We have to be willing to go that extra mile. That's just for me. That's what I believe in. And obviously, being a president, I will definitely be a support to my team. Not just the officers, but everybody that works in the student union, as well as the university, and most importantly, the students. So for me, being a president, I will have to put myself out there as a leader, somebody that can be an example to everyone else. And I tend to be somebody who is very caring, considerate, helpful, and I really don't like when there's animosity in an organization. No, the atmosphere is dim. It doesn't work. And as a leader, I have to make sure that the atmosphere that the team is working in is of that standard. So I will definitely encourage, the exec team. I'll definitely be somebody who makes sure that they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and just be an encourager, a mentor for everybody. So that is for me, to be somebody that is an example to others, so that anybody else can look at myself as a president and say, one day I want to be like you. Thank you.
I could give you a 100. Yes.
Just 1 minute else.
Wait, are you finished? Like in terms of adding to the question? Are the other candidates okay with it?
Each of us getting a minute?
Democracy, right?
Just 30 seconds.
Uh,
What do you think? It's 30 seconds.
I'm in the spirit of democracy. It's up to the other candidates. I'm not involved.
For me, it depends on what you have to say.
You will see in a minute if I will say.
Well, there is a debate on Monday.
Oh yeah, you have a chance to. So how about this? Monday, you have the presidential debate. You can all challenge each other. So, thank you so much for answering all these questions. And thank you, everyone. Okay, so, yeah, you can. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, guys. Oh, I'm not done yet. Hello. Sorry. Gosh. I still need 5 minutes of your attention, please. So, thank you all for coming. I know a lot of you came here to see the candidates, but also the pizza. Thank you for eating it all, because I couldn't take it all home. Remember, you can rewatch this on YouTube as it was live streamed. Be sure to vote. Voting opens on Monday, first at 9 a.m. until 4th of March. That's Friday until 12 p.m. And also, if you do vote, you are automatically entered into a draw to win a free iPad, a Kindle, or an Amazon voucher. So make sure to vote. Your vote does matter, really and truly. And yeah, thank you. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend.